Mirembe, do again feel welcomed to Logooli, a series of classes, and today we will be looking at a language aspect in Lulogooli known as Viungi. Known as Viungi. In singular, Kiungi. Singular, Kiungi. And it is one key or important language aspect, or rather part of language, that we, by knowing, will help us put such words together or organize our writing to make great sense. The word Kiungi or Viungi comes from the Lulogooli word unga. Unga is a verb that means join. Therefore, when we get or we prefix unga with ki plus unga, to get a noun, we will have to replace this last letter with an I for us to get kiungi. And as we said, we shall be looking in our other classes how Logooli begets nouns from verbs. In speech, kiungi, you might hear or sound kiungi. Sometimes this is how it is sounded. Instead of ngi, nji. But the right word, or rather the right way, should be kiungi, and not chunji. Some people even go to an extent of even replacing the ki with chu, so that the way they would pronounce it in singular, chunji, and in plural, viungi, which is not the case. It should be kiungi and viungi. Going ahead is that what is the equivalent of viungi in English or other languages? The equivalent is conjunctions. And these are words that help us join other words in a sentence. What are some of the examples of these words? One of the examples of these, if we put in a sentence, is this one. Mama na baba. Mom and dad. Na is our conjunction. Na ni kiungi chetu. Kiungi chetu. Na is our conjunction. Something else. Mugadi na. Sometimes we went to the shop and bought a few things. You could have bought bread and sugar. Mugadi na esukari. Na is our conjunction. Kiungi kyetu. Disclaimer, or rather something to note. In Lulogooli, often in speech, there is a rush to join this part of the word to this. So that in speech you might hear somebody say, Mugadi ne sukari. Mama na baba. So quick. And sometimes we'll even see people write, Mugadi ne sukari. This is wrong because when you say ne, you forget or we become confusing that na is the only conjunction that means and. In brackets, the and sign. So when we say Mugadi ne sukari, we are just duplicating a random speech. But when we say Mugadi na esukari, we are differentiating, saying that these two things are together, different but together. And it is not the only conjunction. There is also another conjunction, ni. For instance, here, mwana ni mudvale. The child is sick. Ni is our conjunction that means is. But in speech, you might find somebody say, mwana numudvale, something like this. When we combine them, whereby the speech kind of kills this expression here to join with the mu or the first syllable of the next word, we interfere with the construct that ni represents is in that sentence. So in writing, we should always be aware or always express such distinct features of a language that we do not find ourselves duplicating or rushing over or being seen to put the informal random speech into writing. So the best word is mwana ni mudvale. There are other so many words in Logooli that the language uses in joining words. Examples, we have words like kinga, kinga that would mean not only, it could also mean however. We have other words, wa, which also gets into conflict by random speech the way na and ne does. Maybe if I should give an example of that, if we wrote mudoga, mudoga would not bring it well. Let's say mwana wa kirage. The cunning child, the child with cunningness. Now, often you will see the writing here, or rather the speech, tend to bring wa as wa. The thing is that in this wa, it is not only a singular word, but it is also a representation of two important morphemes that make a word. that if we were to write it well, it would be u a, whereby u, it's singular pronoun and a is possessive. So that we add mwana wa Kirage, the child of. Now, it follows also for all other noun classes that the ua, known as Viungi in this case, or rather that plays the case of conjunction here, can be also as a resultant of a noun class plus possessive a joining to make a conjunction. We shall keep on expounding on that till it gets clear. And now that we've talked about the noun classes forming conjunctions, it would also follow ua, kia, ria, and such many others. Towards this end, it should just be clear to us that whenever we are using a word to join such other words, we should make sure that in writing the word is clearly seen and expressed and devoid from being added or talked onto the next preceding word. We shall be expounding more in our next classes. Asante sana.